How's everybody doing? Jump on here a few minutes early. Probably should have jumped on here a little sooner. But this is what we got. Open up the chat. And we got about a minute and a half. Okay, and I'll get this shared. All right. Doing okay so far. DJ Dave says, hey Dave, how you doing? Renee Cruz says, ChillerNight Theater Live rocks, rages, and rolls. All right. Thanks, Renee. Good evening. All right, there we go. My first chat of the night. Renee writes, dungeon room, escape room. Having fun with that. Having some fun with that so far. Okay. It is 8 o'clock. Hey everybody, this is Brian Hogue. Welcome to ChillerNight Live, where from 8 p.m. Eastern Time till 9 p.m. We used to do a pre-show, and this was kind of going to be a pre-show. We'll mention this Saturday's schedule for Stream TV with the ChillerNight Theater, but you know, we are kind of branching off into the unknown territories, into unexplored regions of the internet, as we are just jumping on here and seeing where this show takes us. Could well possibly evolve into a let's just shoot from the hip and see what happens. Let's see. Renee says maybe you can have an escape dungeon room with a bottomless pit. Ooh, that sounds pretty cool. Might not have return customers that way. They fall into a pit. No, that might be a kind of a neat idea. You never know. Let's see here. Combine escape room with laser tag. Oh geez, laser tag. Boy, that's something I haven't heard of that in a long time. Remember in the 80s, they had laser tag. They had you could buy the two guns. The kit came with two guns, I think, if I'm remembering this right, and like two things where you could wear them on I don't know, maybe either on your armband or on your chest or something, a little sensor, and you know it would ring if it got you got clipped with that. I don't know. I remember that because we used to have one. That was back in the 80s, so lots of fun. So anyways, how's everyone doing? This is our first show of the year, 2023. Hope everybody had a good, happy New Year's. Don't know if anybody went out, had some, you know, a lot of people are going out. I think we've all kind of got used to maybe not going out as much. I don't know. I know Ava and I, nothing crazy here. No, we just stayed home, and it was nice. Just kind of did our traditional New Year's Eve. It was nice. Richard says, I love your show. Oh, thank you, Richard. Appreciate that very much. I might be changing this now. If you're on YouTube, none of this matters. What I'm about to say for the next minute, it will not apply to the YouTube viewers. YouTube, it's going to stay the same because it's on the ChillerNight YouTube channel. However, on Facebook, it might be even next week. We'll play it by ear. We'll make a decision by the end of this episode to have this show on Brian Hogue. You can see, where is my name? What the heck? Brian Hogue, right there. On Brian Hogue's Facebook page. And and we'll see how that goes. Again, nothing's written in stone. If it doesn't work, we could put it right back. But what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to get more viewers. And seeing as how this is ChillerNight live, we'll be talking about all things ChillerNight. ChillerNight, my brand, my small little business. I'm trying to grow into a monster of a business. So, but that will include ChillerNight Theater. It will include the ChillerNight Escape Experience, escape room business. All things Jack Shadow. You'll see him again. Or I'll mention him anyways, because he'll be back. He'll be coming back in October, in time for Halloween, for the not the escape room, but a haunted house. Renee says, Fisherman's Wharf Pier 39 laser tag, bumper cars and arcade video games and pinballs. Oh, that sounds fun. That sounds pretty cool. Laser tag, bumper cars, and arcade video games and pinballs. Really, like the old stand-up 80s type of arcade games. That'd be neat. If that's what I think of when I think of a video arcade. Kind of fun. Richard says Jack Shadow rocks. All right. I think so. Thanks, Richard. Yeah. Let me put up the schedule. We'll be now this is the schedule that will be coming on this Saturday. This Saturday, January 7th. And speaking of Jack Shadow, he will be hosting Jesse James Meets Frankenstein's Daughter. And then at 10:35, he'll be hosting Kill Baby Kill, a Mario Bava movie. Very well done. Nice little ghost story there. And at 12:15, Jack will host Bride of the Gorilla. And then at 1:45, I guest host as we watch Manos, The Hands of Fate. There you have it. There's the schedule. This Saturday, January 7th at 9 p.m., beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and that's on Stream TV, located right there. You can see that out in your upper right at streammedia.tv, streammedia.tv, for four freaking episodes of ChillerNight Theater, beginning at 9 p.m. and running until about 3 in the morning. It's crazy. It's crazy. Richard says, video arcades were so cool. Yeah, we have, Ava and I bought one of those stand-up, like, 80s style arcade games, and we have that, and I guess you can like upload different video games to it. It can connect to the internet, and it's a regular stand-up, regular sized arcade game we have in our home. And but I got it because I wanted to get Space Invaders. I loved that game as a kid. Space Invaders. I just thought that would be a lot of big dumb fun to have Space Invaders. And I haven't got that downloaded yet or uploaded, whatever the right term is, technical term is, but I don't have that on there yet. So I do play Asteroids. It has a bunch of the old games on it, So that's kind of cool. Renee says they got rid of them all in 2000. Oh, bummer. Oh, is that right? Um, Renee says, but they opened the Arcade Emporium here in San Francisco. That is everything. Did they bring back the full size arcade games? I wonder if kids go to that, or would it just be, like people my age, who had that fondness of the old arcade games back in the 80s, 70s, and 80s. Um, I don't know. I'd be interested to see oh, Galaga, Galaxia. I remember Galaga. Um, Berserker, Joust. I remember Joust. There was a game back in this is kind of fun. Walk back to the '80s with me, folks, as I relive some of those moments in my mind. Playing, there was a game called Crazy Climber, and I love that game. I love that game. You had the two controllers. You were climbing up the building, and you could scroll left to right, up and down, and people were trying to. The windows would close, and you'd have to. I was really, really super good. I was always within like the top two, um, you know, on that in our local arcade. Our arcade, which I gotta say, this is really cool. Now look at this. This is my. You were talking about escape rooms earlier. This is my storefront, okay, and that's at the Cranberry Mall in Venango County, Pennsylvania. Um, I guess I can't put my hand up there and show you. But actually, if you look straight up here where that gate is, because they were shutting down when I took this picture, so they had pulled the gate across. But right in that area, right in my store, on the end of my store, was the arcade, or part of where the arcade was when I was a kid. So I think that's pretty cool. So I was talking to the management, and Jeff was showing me the old original floor plans for the mall when it was built, when it first opened up. And I remember the arcade was called Aladdin's Castle. And now my escape room has part of the space that was used for Aladdin's Castle right there and I'm right beside the theater. I'm right beside the theater, which is really cool. Um, but anyways, that's my store. That's my store. And actually, if you're new on here and you don't know what I'm talking about, I have an escape room store. I'm gonna make this a little bigger because I want to try to show you something. Now you can see the dead walk and back there, that wall. That's the first room of my first escape room, uh, zombie outbreak. Now if you look over to the left, you can see like a darkened out doorway, and that will be the entrance. Now that's going to be to the left if you're looking on it, to the left of the front counter. That's going to be the entrance to the haunted house in October. So, and that, we'll be seeing Jack Shadow in there quite a bit. So, I thought that was pretty cool. Wanted to share it with you. Speaking of that, here is the ChillerNight Escape Experience Zombie Outbreak. That is my first. I'm actually working now. I bought some things I will be modifying this. I'll be upgrading it, and also at the same time be putting in my second escape room. It's a horror themed escape room business. So all under the mantle of ChillerNight Escape Experience. So there we go. I'll keep that up. Keep that up for a few minutes. Make you look at that. Richard says, I recall Crazy Climber. Remember that? That was, I used to love that game. Renee says, yes, all the video games ever in existence is there. Robotron. I don't remember that one. Or maybe I don't know, something sounds familiar. Whether it be an old title of a movie, Robotron, that just sounds like I should know it. Tom says somewhere I have Galaga on MAME. Galaga. I think I think I might have Galaga on our home arcade game. I don't know. It's got like I think like 50 various games on it. I wanted, like I said, I got it because I wanted to put Space Invaders on there. But I don't have Space Invaders yet, but I do have Asteroids on it. The original Asteroids, I have the Atari 2600 Asteroids version, and I also have like Asteroids Deluxe version on there as well. So Renee says Tempest and Qbert. I remember those. We have Tempest on that. Richard says, do you recall the photo booths? Yes, I do. I do remember that. Yeah. Renee says, RoboCop versus the Terminator. I've never seen that one, that game. Richard says, if I was near your area, I'd come by. Oh, cool. Yeah. It's kind of fun. And once I'm going to at least, now these are my plans. I don't know about the mall's plans. They have new ownership now, so they could, I don't know. And nobody can tell me anything yet. So I don't know what their ideas are. But I'm telling you, my plan is to stay there, continue with my lease, renew my lease, and have a minimum of 3 different escape rooms going on at one time. Not operating them at once, but to have 3 of them, 3 different ones in there, plus my haunted attraction. And I'll announce that one a little bit later once I get the logo finished by the graphic artist. So I had one, and then I wanted to change it. I changed it because I just did. I wasn't feeling the love. It wasn't giving me that warm fuzzy feeling like I wanted. So I just tweaked a little bit, and so. SBC says, hello, everyone. Hey, SBC. Thanks for joining us. Richard says, the good old pinball machines were fun as well. Yeah, they were. Air hockey rocked, he says. Yeah. Those were fun. SBC says, Robotron was also a computer manufacturer from Eastern Europe. Oh, yeah. I'm sure I didn't hear it from that, but that just sounds like... It sounds like a sci-fi movie or something too. I don't know if it was also a video game like Renee might have been referring to it. Tom says, MAME is an emulator that allows one to play arcade ROMs on one's computer. Oh, that's cool. Is that something you can... I would imagine you can just upload it, right? I mean, is that how you get it? You just purchase that and then and it uploads? That's kind of cool. Richard says, Pac-Man. Oh, yeah, Pac-Man. I wonder if ours has Pac-Man or Mrs. Pac-Man at least. I think ours might. I don't remember. And I'll be honest, after I started working on the escape room back last early summer, late spring, early summer, back in May. That's about the time we got that thing, and then I played around on it a little bit, and then after that I was busy, so I don't really recall all the games on it, but I know what's not on it, and that's Space Invaders. Renee says, Defender, Space Invaders, Asteroids. I have Asteroids on there. I don't know about Defender, but don't have Space Invaders. Not yet. But I'd like to get. Richard says, Centipede was really popular. Centipede might be on that. I'll get a picture of it maybe for next week and put that on there. I'll put it up. See me in the house here just playing. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I love the '80s. I had a lot of fun growing up in the '80s. A lot of fun growing up in the '70s too. The '80s was kind of neat with the you know, bringing in the going to the arcade and the mall cinema. The mall was a very exciting place. When it first came in, they had a couple of them that came in our the recent surrounding counties and stuff. But I knew of the one, Cranberry Mall, where I'm at now with my escape room business. A lot of the malls are kind of starting to die down, obviously over the last couple decades or so. But I don't know. I've been seeing more and more people out there. And if you see my page, just my regular page or the ChillerNight Escape Experience page, you'll see that I'm doing pretty well with customers. So it's I'm there are people out there, thank goodness, or at least who see this online and make the bookings. But I do see people. I see that foot traffic. Um, Obviously not like it used to be back in the heyday, but it is something that I'm encouraged by, because it almost feels like people want to return to they want to bring the mall back, and I would love to see that. I just think that I don't know, there was something so cool about that. As a kid, I just couldn't wait to go with my friends on the weekend. go see a movie. I remember Raiders of the Lost Ark. That was one of the first movies I saw at that new at the mall cinema. Again, where I'm right beside it. So I'm in a really good area of the mall, because I'll just be sitting there, and I could be in between groups, and I have walk-ins, for the escape room, which is pretty cool. I'm not going to say I get that during the week. It's not that busy, but on the weekends, that's happened several times, so I'm pretty happy with that. I don't know. But walking down memory lane here. But even on a more recent topic, New Year's Eve. Anybody have any good stories? Or maybe you don't want to share that, how your New Year's Eve went. But if you're here, I'm sure you're not under arrest or anything, and you kept it you kept it contained. Let's see. SBC says, "I've always liked shopping malls. Would be sad if they all died out." It would be. I would really love to see. Well, obviously, I have my own, I guess, personal reasons, selfish reasons, I guess, in business. I don't want to be shy about that. Yeah, obviously, I want the business, but I would like to see that mall bounce back into something really great. And it was nice around the holidays, around Christmas, that Christmas holiday season, to see. I did see a lot of people out there. So that was really nice and encouraging to see that. Richard says, there's a new Raiders of the Lost Ark coming out, I believe, this year. There is, yeah. I think it's coming out in June. I don't know how I don't know how I feel about that. I really enjoy the character of Indiana Jones. I've always liked Harrison Ford. I just, I think he's like 80 years old, and though, I would. It's not that I wouldn't give the character a chance. It's not that I'm not thrilled about. It's that anymore, who's ever writing these movies are not at all even the same of the same caliber of the people who wrote these when I was a kid growing up. You know, and I just, look at The Last Jedi, what they did with those characters, Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, and, they just, They just shoved their face right in the dirt. You know, they made a mockery of them. Just they just made him so weak. And but I don't know. The Lone Ranger. There's another character I grew up with, you know, as a kid, and then when they came out in what 2013, Disney, you know, they can't have the strong man, you know, character anymore. They got to make him into a butt of a joke. And I don't know. I hope they don't do that with the Indiana Jones. Um, Disney is really taking, you know, with Marvel is really doing bad. They're taking um, just the way those movies are going, the way you know what I've seen them do with Star Wars. And then with the Lone Ranger. Lone Ranger was Disney. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I hope it's good. I would like to see them send Indiana Jones off in a good way. No, not what they did with Luke Skywalker, but or Han Solo even. I don't know. I wish I could be excited about it. These new writers, they concern me. You know, they're just it's a narrative for their own little agenda, I guess. Tom says MAME. Okay, used to be free, but of course the game manufacturers, what's left of them, tried to shut that down because they figured they should be getting all revenue from it. Oh, okay. Hmm. I can kind of see the game manufacturer's point, though. If that's, I mean, yeah, I can kind of see that, you know. Um, but how does that work when you get like your free uploads of music on? Like, I don't understand a lot of that stuff, and it's just simply because I've never really looked into it. Um, but I don't know. But if I had to pay for Invaders, for example, to be uploaded on my stand-up arcade game, I would not have a problem with that. I would happily and spend the money to do that. I think it would just be so cool to have that again. So they tried to kill it, Tom says. And did they? Well, I mean, it used to be free, but now you have to pay for it, I guess. Tom says, the Cisco Kid. The Cisco Kid. Oh, man. Wasn't that... Was that the one with Harrison Ford and Gene Wilder on it? Am I thinking of... Is that what you mean? The funny, like, Western one that they were in together? Um, SBC said, I watched Indiana Jones so many times. My VHS wore out. Yeah, I know. Okay. I'll put the schedule up in about 4 minutes. Indiana Jones. Good topic. Good topic. Um, I think the best one, in my opinion, hands down, the best one was Raiders of the Lost Ark. In my opinion, um, Temple of Doom was a neat idea. Started getting started getting a little silly, you know. And then by the time you get to the Last Crusade, now they had this, a lot more comedy, integrated in the movie. Where it was funny, they had their funny parts. I I think it's strange though to go from a movie that is serious, and then by the time you get to the third one out of the it is it's got a lot more humor in it. So it's kind of, this is the way I look at it. Some people like that. I mean, it did well. I mean, I still enjoyed the movie, but or look at Thor, for example. The movie Thor, the first one was like it was a dramatic, serious movie, action movie, and it had some funny parts in it. And now it just turned into a comedy that had some action in it. It's like these writers don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to balance it anymore. And that's what makes me nervous about this new Indiana Jones movie. I don't mind the humor. I don't mind, but I would like to see less of it. You know, that makes it more funny to me when it's like a serious drama. You know, um, obviously inspired by the old serials, and it has some funny parts in it. That's my personal opinion on that. Go World Order says, it's been a while. How you doing tonight, Brian? And that was the Frisco Kid. Ah, the Frisco Kid. Diablos. Undead Prince of Pennsylvania. Hey, how you doing there, Go World Order? And then Tom, Tom says, no, Cisco Kid was a series in the 50s or 60s. Started Duncan Ronaldo. Starred Duncan Ronaldo. He was a Hispanic version of the Lone Ranger. Sans mask. Oh, really? I've heard of that, but I gotta say I've not seen it. I've not seen it. I have heard of that. But for some reason, I was talking about Harrison Ford, and when you said that, for some reason, my mind went right to the Frisco Kid. But yeah, cool. I have to check that out. PBR Street Gang is waving. PBR Street Gang. Roger says, hello, good evening, everyone. Hey, Roger, thanks for joining us. I'll put up the schedule again for this Saturday. It's that time. It's that time it is. 9 o'clock this Saturday, January 7th, on Stream TV. You can find that at streammedia.tv. At 9 o'clock Eastern Time, the movie is Jesse James Meets Frankenstein's Daughter. Yes, indeed. You can see Jack back there playing cowboy. And 10:35, the movie is Kill Baby Kill. 12:15, the movie is Bride of the Gorilla. And then at 1:45 a.m., Manos, The Hands of Fate. Gotta say it like that. That's the rule. 9 o'clock, Jesse James Meets Frankenstein's Daughter, followed by Kill Baby Kill, followed by Bride of the Gorilla, and then last for the night, Manos, The Hands of Fate. I almost said last but not least, but that's come on, that's not true. All right, but it is last. So Manos, The Hands of Fate. Where is Paul, anyways? Speaking of Manos, The Hands of Fate, Paul's the one who picked that. I haven't seen him on here for a couple weeks. Maybe he's not aware of our switch to Tuesday night. I don't know. I think he was on here when we were talking about it. I don't know. Cisco Kid. I definitely remember seeing some, that name, the Cisco Kid, but I don't have any memory of watching that. Oh, a series. A series. Okay, it wasn't a serial. It was a series, huh? Interesting. Yeah, my big Western ones were the Lone Ranger and the Rifleman. I actually like the Rifleman probably at least as much, if not better than, like the Rifleman is probably my favorite Western series. And then the Lone Ranger was a bit more not quite as well written and acted as the Rifleman, but still obviously very entertaining, especially as a kid growing up. Even now I like watching it. Roger says, oh, I reread that. SBC says, I was disappointed. I was so disappointed with the Crystal Skull. I was going to ask about that. I hope the new one is not that bad, but I fear the worst. I know. PBR says, is it Jazz Hands of Fate? Yuck, yuck, yuck. Jazz Hands. It is not. It is not. We're just stuck with Manos, The Hands of Fate. Richard says, Chuck Connors was really great in The Rifleman. Yeah. I, last year, was it on Tubi? I think it's on Tubi. the channel on Roku channel. Last year I went through and watched all of them from the first. There's 5 seasons, I believe. Same as Lone Ranger, 5 seasons. But and I watched all of the episodes, just all in order. I went through a phase last year where I did that, and very good show, just really good. I always liked that show. Every once in a while, I watch Gunsmoke. I didn't grow up watching Gunsmoke though. I, as an adult, went back and kind of watched it here and there. I'll tell you, it's so funny because I'll sit there and I could commit to 2 or 3 episodes of The Rifleman or The Lone Ranger because they were half an hour episodes, 22 minutes or whatever by the time you get the commercials in. But for me to say, oh, I'm going to sit through an hour episode of Gunsmoke, I don't know. It's harder for me to do that in the evenings, And I don't know why. I don't know why. It was a fantastic show. I love that. I love every time I watch it. I actually commit to it, but I just as soon watch The Rifleman or The Lone Ranger. And I know we're off track with the chiller theme here, so I will. But I do kind of think of that stuff when I think of like The Lone Ranger, because I thought in 1981 when they did The Legend of the Lone Ranger, when they came out with that movie, I thought, wouldn't that be cool? I was excited about that because I thought that was right around the time, well, that was the same year Raiders of the Lost Ark came out. And I thought, how neat would that be if you kind of had that kind of action adventure, but it was a Lone Ranger in Tano and, back in the Wild West, and it didn't really turn out that great, but it was, hey, in my opinion, it was a much better movie than the 2013 one, but I was thinking of I guess we'll flip back to the Indiana Jones thing. What did you guys think? Okay, you didn't like the SBC did not like the Crystal Skull. Gold World Order says, I heard that George Lucas promised no CGI in Crystal Skull, but it got loaded with CGI anyway. Yeah. I like the idea of it because there were some parts in it where I just like, oh, are you serious? Did they really just, how stupid did they think we are? Like there's one thing to get a little crazy, but the part where he gets blown up in the refrigerator, he saves himself from a point blank atomic bomb going off. Flies, I don't know how far, and he lands and doesn't break every bone in his body, just kind of crawls out. And then the other part where it just was ridiculous was his, the kid Mutt, they called him Mutt or whatever his name, swinging on the vines with all the monkeys. That was, and then the part where he's sword fighting the lady and Karen Allen's character Marion is like an adult at a fencing tournament or something, telling him to now parry, thrust, and I'm like, oh, they really just. That was what I was trying to think of like earlier tonight when I was saying the comedy part of it is like it's too much for. It just doesn't fit. Like okay, that level of comedy wouldn't have fit well with Raiders of the Lost Ark. I like that movie better because they took it more seriously, and to me that will always be the most superior Indiana Jones movie. Again, these are my opinions. But I feel pretty strongly about it though. You'll never, no one will ever convince me that any of the other movies was as good as Raiders of the Lost Ark, but I understand the idea was to go with that look and feel of the old serials. That was the inspiration for for Raiders of the Lost Ark. But SBC says it's sort of like the writers of these new movies haven't seen the originals. Well, what the heck is the guy who did Thor: Love and Thunder? He said he's never read a Thor comic book, so he didn't know the source material. He just wanted to push his whatever he was pushing, and it didn't turn out too well, did it? I mean, even the actor Chris Hemsworth didn't. I guess he can openly speak about it now, but he's not too thrilled about how that went. PBR Street Gang, first two Indiana Jones movies were good. After that, not so much, in my opinion. Yeah, I think the first two were probably the best. Like, it was neat seeing Sean Connery, which is kind of weird because Sean Connery was only like 12 years older than Harrison Ford, but it was kind of neat seeing him playing his dad. But did I need to see Indiana Jones's dad in there? Not really. Richard Cook says Wild Wild West. The series, I gotta say, I never saw the movie with Will Smith, and wasn't it directed by Kenneth Branagh? The same guy who directed Thor. We were just talking about Thor. I love that movie. I love what he did with Thor. And, of course, he was in, and I believe he directed Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I know, of course, he played Dr. Frankenstein. Very talented actor. Very, the old classic Shakespearean actor. He's done a lot of great movies, but... and then I see him in some weird things, and I think, I don't know what you're doing. Tom says, yeah, Nuke the Fridge replaced Jump the Shark from Happy Days. Yeah, remember that? Jump the Shark. That's where that term comes from. Jump the Shark with Happy Days, with Fonzie jumping over the shark, the shark in cage or whatever with the sharks in it. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Laser Cord says, hey peeps, reporting live tonight from Galactic Ice in Altoona, PA. Hey, all right, Laser Cord, thanks for joining us. Laser. Richard says, yes, the series. Okay, with Wild Wild West. Yeah, I used to watch that. Yeah. Tom says, Wild Wild West movie was terrible. Oh, I can only imagine. The guy who wrote it, and I don't know the guy, and I'm pulling these these little strands of memory are being pulled out of my mind, like they're kicking and screaming as I'm pulling them out, because it's not gonna go real smoothly, but I will. The person who wrote that, my understanding was they were going to be the writers for the new Superman movie, or maybe it's the guy who produced the movie. All I know is whoever was involved with the Wild Wild West movie, and maybe you guys know more about this. I don't know who's sitting around knowing all this trivia information about the Wild Wild West movie, but they wanted to do they wanted to do Superman. Back when we were going to do a Superman back in the late '90s, and they were really adamant about Superman must have a gay robot sidekick. And I guess that was, I don't know why. I don't know what the idea there. And he would be fighting a big spider. It's like, if that was in the comics, that'd be something I could see. But to just randomly out of nowhere, he's got to have a robot sidekick who's gay, If that was from the comic source, okay, I can understand that. I don't know where that would have to be. Look, guys, we got to make this movie, but look, I'm telling you, this is what's going to sell it. But the idea was then they scrapped that. Thankfully, they scrapped that idea, but they still went with this giant spider idea. So I think if I'm remembering this right, they still had this big mechanical giant spider in the Wild Wild West, and I guess that's where that idea originally came from. They didn't use it in the Superman movie, so they took it over and made the Wild Wild West movie, which was just I don't think I never heard anybody say that was a good movie. Never, never. Uh, PBR Street Gang. What was the movie Will Smith turned down to do Wild Wild West? Yeah, yeah. That's a good question. What was he thinking? What was he like? Oh, this is the one. This is the one. Now, I can see them doing stuff for fun, like Harrison Ford. You know, such an A-list actor doing something like Cowboys and Aliens, Cowboy versus Aliens or something, you know, with Daniel Craig. Was that because he just really loved that idea, or did he just say, "Hey, this one I'm just gonna have fun with"? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the stories behind this, but yeah. Renee says, horror sci-fi host Brian Hogue. That's me. Yes. I haven't seen Avatar 2, she says. Oh, I have not either. I saw I was okay with the first Avatar movie. I don't think I would have wanted to see it in the theater. Like, I didn't think it was that great. I thought it was okay. I thought it was good. Avatar 2, I don't know, quite honestly, if I'm that interested in it to go see it. To go see it. I might wait till it comes out in streaming just so I can watch little, maybe bits of it, 30 minutes at a time. I don't think I could, even Avatar 1, the first time I saw it, I couldn't have sat through that whole thing in one sitting. I don't think I could have done that. I'm not saying, to somebody else that might have been a fantastic movie. To me, it just didn't grab my attention. Like, I didn't love it, but it was okay. Tom says, PBR, according to IMDb, Will Smith turned down The Matrix for Wild Wild West. What? Are you serious? Are you kidding? Is that true, Tom? Oh man, if that's right, I don't know if you're joking because it's so crazy. Is that right? Can you imagine turning down The Matrix for Wild Wild West? SBC says Superman and C-3PO. Ghoul World Order says, ever see Cowboys and Aliens with Harrison Ford? Yes, yes. Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah, it was okay. That was one of those ones that was a little different, right? You know what I mean? It was something that you don't see all the time. Tom said it was the worst decision of his career. So you are serious? Okay, that's wow. Yeah, I'd say so. Worst decision of his career until he slapped Chris Rock. Well, that actually might not have hurt him too much. Let's see. Google World Order says, you just answered my question. Richard Cook, Avatar 2 is great. Okay, so Richard liked it. We got a good review there from Richard. Brian says, I'm late. Well, thanks for joining us nonetheless. Richard says, just knowing the story and how they had to shoot Avatar 2, very interesting. Ah, okay. SBC says, Wild Wild West would have been a little better with a different cast. Will Smith is just too much himself and not enough the role he plays. Oh, okay. Sometimes that happens with an actor. You can't disassociate them from. Sometimes they kind of are just the same. I don't know. I don't know. I know what you mean when you say that, though. Is that same Will Smith mannerism and although he I don't know, he's done some drama movies and stuff where he I take it you mean the comedy part, because I've seen him do like dramatic and action movies where it's I do see that separation. He does pretty well. Tom says, according to IMDb, he did. No idea if it's true. Right. PBR Street Gang says, yep, he turned down the Matrix for Wild Wild West. That's amazing. Ah. SBC says, Avatar was only made to make money. Way too generic. Oh, you think? Yeah, it could be. I don't know. I don't know. Um, like I said, I thought it was okay. Um, Richard says Avatar 2 was great. So we got, I don't know. I haven't seen it. I will wait until it probably comes out streaming. Richard Cook says, worst decision of an actor's career, Ned Beatty. Yeah, you can't take that back. That idea just, that decision, that was just a one-way decision. The thing. Avatar 2, wait for cable, Brian says. Richard Cook says, I just couldn't resist posting that, sorry. Tom says, Avatar was a billion-dollar movie made to tell a 2-bit story. Yeah. James Cameron does those big, epic, movies, and I don't know. I just, like I said, I watched the first one, like, it had some neat qualities to it, but it wasn't enough for me to just, it didn't grab at me, it didn't pull me in, like, but if you love that movie, you're not alone. I mean, it made, like Tom says, it was a billion-dollar movie. So, yeah. Ned Beatty. Just reading that again. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what to think of some of these things. Like I said, I'll go back to the Indiana Jones thing. I don't get excited anymore about movies because of the way they treat the male heroes are regarded anymore, and they look foolish, and they look like the butt of a joke anymore, and they're not they're watered down versions, of course, of what they were when we first were introduced to the characters, and I'm not. Of course, it doesn't matter that he's in his 80s. Obviously, that character still has a value to him. He's still very. He's lived off through these amazing adventures. He's a world-class archaeologist. He's one of the smartest people out there. So I mean, the character, and I'm obviously, I'm assuming he can still perform some of the adventure parts of or they wouldn't be having an Indiana Jones movie. The Crystal Skull, I will say, Harrison Ford, even though he was older in that movie, I think he was in his mid-60s at the time they made that one. I thought he pulled that off really well. I mean, I thought that looked believable to me, that like he could still, like, okay, he's up there in years, but good for him. He's doing a pretty good job at it. Let's see, PBR Street Gang just watched The Claw on ChillerNight. A claw, yes. Richard says, have you seen the trailer for the new Mission Impossible stunt with Tom Cruise? No. The Giant Claw PBR says, yeah, I thought there was something missing with that title. I did not. But you bring up something. There's 8 minutes left. I wanted to mention this. I watched. Speaking of Tom Cruise, I watched. Ava and I watched on New Year's Eve. Top Gun Maverick. I just now got around to watching that, and I kept hearing everybody say how good it was. How good it was. It was really good. And it's like, okay, I'm sure it's a fine movie, but we watched that, and I 100% recommend that movie to anybody. That was such a good movie. And I tell you what, Tom Cruise is. I've always liked him as an actor. And again, that's one of those. That's one of those things that's not cool to say for some reason, because he's such a. I don't know. Is he? Is he not? I don't know why that's. Why that's not. Why there's that stigma with Tom Cruise when I think he makes really excellent movies. War of the Worlds. I'm not gonna say it was, I'm not gonna hold it up higher than the original, the classic. But I thought War of the Worlds. I thought that was a neat version of that movie. I thought he did a good job. I think he always does a good job acting. Um, but see Top Gun Maverick if you get a chance. My opinion is better than the first. In my opinion, it was. So now when I look at that, but I also know, I was going to say that, that I almost said that, but then my next thought was, no, it's not the same type of writers that are writing that movie that's writing the Disney garbage now, who are going to make sure you don't have these, these manly heroes. But gosh, don't screw up Indiana Jones. Disney, don't do it. Lucasfilm. Gold World Order says, when James Cameron makes a movie, he makes bank. He definitely is the most successful director of all time. Yeah. Yeah, he does. What in the world would give him that much interest to make, like, Titanic, for example? And then, I kept, there was another one. I kept hearing how great the Titanic movie was. And I went and saw that, and I thought it was. I thought it was fantastic. And a movie that really didn't know that I was going to be able to want to sit there for that long and watch a movie about the Titanic. And to me, I have no problem telling you, I thought it was a fantastic movie. I only saw it once, but when I did see it, I thought it was great. Renee says Avatar 2 looks like the underwater scenes in The Phantom Menace and Aquaman. Oh, is that right? Did you see it, Renee? Did you see Avatar 2? Or are you talking about from what you're seeing on the trailers? Gold World Order says, I always wanted to see an Indiana Jones sequel where it's centered around the golden deity from the beginnings of Raiders of the Lost Ark. There must be magic power in it. It's a fertility goddess, yes. Yeah, but Belloc, he got it, right? He got the little the idol. I like that. That's another classic scene, he's weighing out the... I don't know why he let sand out of the bag. If it's a golden idol, you'd think that thing was going to be heavy. Oh, well. But I wasn't there. I wasn't in the temple. All right. Being a backseat driver here. Renee says, I'll rent it at the library when it's released. Tom says, not a big Tom Cruise fan. Oh, okay. I am. I like Tom Cruise. I think he's a good actor. And Sylvester Stallone, that's another one. I know people make fun of him, for being like he's not a cardboard cutout actor, though. I mean, I think he does a good job, whatever he's in. Not whatever he's in, like Rhinestone or Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. No. If you've never seen those movies, you have no idea what I'm talking about. You don't have to check those out. Renee says, Tom Cruise, obnoxious laugh on Family Guy, LOL. Oh, is that right? They're not very kind to him on Family Guy, are they? SBC says, they should let me write the screenplay for Indiana Jones. I don't know, we might feel that way after this next one. I get nervous, I really do. I get like, are they going to take a character who I've loved and grew up with and make a fool out of him, like they did with, again, Disney's at the helm of Lucasfilm. They own Lucasfilm. They did that with the Lone Ranger, a character who I was excited about that. That was before I knew what they, which direction they were going there. It's just I don't know. They just make such a mockery out of it anymore. It's Tom says, the movie about the Titanic cost more than the actual Titanic cost, even adjusted for inflation. That's weird when you think about it like that. PBR says, night, chiller, friends, and family. Hey, good night. I'm going to put that schedule up again because it is 8:58, and then I'll finish off these comments there at 9 p.m. this Saturday, January 7th. Jesse James Meets Frankenstein's Daughter is the movie at 9 o'clock. 10:35, again, these are back-to-back, folks, essentially back-to-back. Kill Baby Kill at 10:35. 12:15, Bride of the Gorilla, and then at 1:45, Manos, The Hands of Fate. I said it like that again. Richard Cook says, Tom Cruise in all the right moves. I'll be honest, I don't know if I saw that one. Tom says, see you, PBR. Yeah, see ya. Richard Cook says, great movie. Hazer says, later, PBR. Renee says, thank you for the awesome live horror sci-fi show, Brian Huggett Rock. Well, thank you, Renee. Thank you, everybody, for joining, not only me, but for with each other. You can chat with each other here, and I think it's a fun hour of the week. So I'm glad we can at least do this on Tuesday nights. For now, if I'll say this, once everything is constructed, and down the road, maybe it'll switch back over to a Saturday down the road. I don't know that, but I'm saying, when I say nothing is written in stone, I mean exactly that. Never say never, okay, like Jack Shadow says. So, but for now, it's on Tuesdays, and thank you for joining me and each other. Have a good night. Have a good chiller night. See you next week.